What if the life you're living right now isn't even yours, not really? What if you've been quietly handing over the steering wheel to expectations, to opinions, to algorithms, to people who don't even know your soul? What if every yes you whispered to please someone else was a silent no to the person staring back at you in the mirror? You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache, that whisper in your chest that says, this isn't it, there's more, I'm meant for more. You scroll, you hustle, you smile, you nod, you say I'm fine, even when you're crumbling inside. You've memorized the rhythm of everyone else's life, but you've forgotten the sound of your own heartbeat. And here's the painful truth, no one is coming to fix this for you. No magic moment, no perfect mentor, no sudden windfall, no applause from the crowd that finally makes you feel worthy. The rescue doesn't arrive in a spotlight, it arrives in silence, in a single decision. In the moment, you stop waiting for permission and start choosing yourself. You were never meant to live on the sidelines of your own existence. You were never meant to be a supporting character in someone else's story. You were designed, wired, built for something deeper, something truer, something only you can bring into this world. But how can you give it if you're not even present in your own life? Think about it. When was the last time you asked yourself, not your boss, not your partner, not your followers, what do you need, what do you want, what makes your soul light up, not what looks good on Instagram, not what gets you a pat on the back, not what keeps the peace, but what sets your spirit on fire? That's the question no one's asking you. And worse, you've stopped asking it yourself. You've been taught to shrink, to soften your edges, to quiet your dreams so you don't intimidate others. You've been praised for being easygoing, low maintenance, always there for everyone. And slowly, so slowly, you didn't even notice you disappeared. You traded your voice for harmony, your truth for approval, your potential for predictability. But here's what they don't tell you, the world doesn't need another echo. It needs your original song, and that song, it's buried under layers of shoulds and supposed toss. It's muffled by guilt, it's drowned out by comparison. It's suffocated by the weight of trying to be everything to everyone except yourself. You think you're being noble, you think you're being kind, but neglecting yourself isn't virtue, it's violence. Quiet, slow, invisible violence against your dreams, against your energy, against your future. You can't build a life you love if you're not even living in it. You can't give your best if you're running on empty. You can't inspire others if your own flame is flickering. This isn't about becoming selfish. This is about becoming whole, because when you focus on yourself truly, deeply, unapologetically, you don't take from the world, you give more. You become more patient, more present, more powerful, more peaceful. You stop leaking energy into dead, end conversations, draining relationships, and meaningless distractions. You start channeling it into your growth, your health, your purpose, your joy. And that's where everything changes. Imagine waking up and asking, what do I need today? And actually listening. Imagine setting boundaries that feel like self-respect, not guilt. Imagine saying no without apology because you finally understand your time is sacred. Imagine investing in your mind, your body, your spirit not as an afterthought, but as your first priority. That's not fantasy, that's freedom, and it starts with one decision, one moment, one breath. Right here, right now. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to shout it from the rooftops. You just need to whisper to yourself, I matter, my dreams matter, my peace matters, my growth matters, and then act like it. Because the greatest rebellion in a noisy, demanding, approval-driven world is to turn inward, to tend to your own garden, to water your own roots, to become so grounded in your worth that nothing and no one can shake you. Stay with this, don't click away, don't scroll past, don't tell yourself I'll come back later. Later is a lie, later is where dreams go to die. If you stay, if you keep listening, you'll discover how to reclaim your focus. how to rebuild your energy, how to design a life that feels like yours, not a borrowed script, not a filtered highlight reel, but a raw, real, radiant reflection of who you truly are. This is your life. Not a rehearsal, not a side quest, not a supporting role. This is your main character moment, and it starts. Now, you think you're being noble, putting others first, swallowing your needs, smiling through exhaustion, but here's the brutal truth, that version of you. It's not sustainable, it's not heroic, it's not even kind, it's a slow surrender, a quiet erasure, and the world doesn't need a faded version of you. It needs you full color, full volume, fully alive. Because when you abandon yourself, you don't just lose energy, you lose clarity, you lose direction, you lose the very thing that makes you magnetic, your authenticity. People don't follow hollow shells. They follow conviction, they follow passion, they follow those who know their worth and refuse to apologize for it. You've been conditioned to believe that focusing on yourself is indulgent, that wanting more is greedy, that setting boundaries is rude, but that's the lie that keeps you small. That's the myth that keeps you stuck in survival mode while your dreams gather dust on the shelf. The most powerful thing you can do for yourself, for your family, for the world is to become unshakably centered in your own purpose, not to escape responsibility, but to fulfill it from a place of strength, not depletion. Think about the last time you felt truly unstoppable, not because everything was perfect, but because you were aligned, because you were rested, because you were clear, because you said no to what didn't serve you so you could say hell yes to what did. That version of you, that's not a fluke, that's your blueprint, that's your default setting buried under layers of I should. And what will they think? It's time to dig it out. Start by asking yourself one question every single morning, before you check your phone, before you reply to anyone, before you step into the chaos. What do I need today to feel strong? Not what do I have to do? Not what do they expect? Not what's urgent? What do I need to feel centered, energized, and ready to show up as the best version of myself? Write it down, whisper it, scream it, but honor it. Maybe it's 20 minutes of silence. Maybe it's moving your body before the world wakes up. Maybe it's saying no to that draining conversation. Maybe it's deleting the app that steals your focus. Maybe it's finally booking that therapy session. Maybe it's giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. This isn't luxury. This is strategy. Because every time you choose yourself, you're not taking from others. You're upgrading your capacity to give. You're sharpening your mind. You're stabilizing your emotions. You're building resilience. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't break under pressure because you've built your foundation on self-respect, not external validation. You were never meant to be a martyr. You were meant to be a master of your time, your energy, your focus, your life. And mastery begins with one radical act. Putting yourself first, not as an exception, but as a rule. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're no longer willing to betray yourself to keep others comfortable. That's not arrogance, that's awakening. The most successful people in history, the ones who changed industries, healed communities, created movements, they didn't burn themselves out trying to please everyone. They protected their peace like it was gold. They guarded their focus like it was a weapon. They said no loudly, clearly, unapologetically to anything that didn't align with their mission. Why? Because they knew distraction is the enemy of destiny. Every minute you spend worrying about someone else's opinion is a minute stolen from your purpose. Every ounce of energy you pour into fixing people who refuse to grow is energy ripped away from your own evolution. Every time you silence your truth to keep the peace, you chip away at your soul enough you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to wait until you're ready or worthy or perfect. You are worthy right now. As you are, with your scars, with your doubts, with your messy, beautiful, unfinished journey, and the moment you start treating yourself like the priority, everything shifts. Your confidence grows not from arrogance, but from alignment. Your energy returns not from caffeine, but from clarity. Your impact deepens not from hustle, but from presence. This is the sacred selfishness, the kind that doesn't take, but multiplies, the kind that doesn't isolate, but elevates, the kind that doesn't close doors, it opens them, for you, and for everyone lucky enough to walk beside the real you. So today, right now, make the vow, not to the world, not to your followers, not to your boss, not to your family, make it to yourself. Say it out loud, I choose me, I protect my peace, I honor my energy, I follow my truth even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it disappoints someone else. Because you're not here to live a life designed by committee, you're here to build a legacy written in your voice, fueled by your fire, shaped by your courage, and that legacy doesn't begin when you have more time, more money, more confidence. It begins the moment you decide I am worth focusing on, not later. Now, stay here, don't look away, don't scroll, don't mute this voice inside you that's been begging to be heard. Because what comes next will show you exactly how to turn this decision into daily action, how to build unstoppable momentum, how to silence the inner critic, how to transform your habits into your greatest allies. This is where your real life begins, and yes, you are ready. You feel it rising now, that fire in your chest, that quiet roar that says enough. Enough pretending, enough shrinking, enough living on leftovers while the world feasts on your energy. But here's what no one warns you about the moment you choose yourself. The war begins, not outside, inside. The real battle isn't with your schedule, your boss, your past, or your bank account. It's with the silent, sneaky enemy that lives between your ears, your own habits. The ones you don't even notice anymore, the ones that run you. While you think you're in control, you wake up, you reach for your phone, you check messages you don't need to see, you scroll through lives that aren't yours. You say, I'll start tomorrow, again. You skip the workout, you eat the food that drains you, you stay up too late. You say yes when you mean no, you apologize for existing, you compare your behind, the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And then you wonder why you feel stuck, why you feel tired, why you feel like you're running in place. This isn't failure, this is programming. Your brain is wired to repeat what's familiar even if it's killing you. Even if it's stealing your dreams, because comfort, even toxic comfort, feels safer than change. But here's the truth that will set you free. Your habits are not your identity, they're your autopilot. And yes, you hold the remote. You don't need to become a different person, you just need to reprogram the system. Every habit you've built, good or bad, started with one decision, one repetition. One moment of surrender or one moment of strength. And that means you can rebuild them, one choice at a time, one morning at a time, one no at a time, one yes to yourself at a time. Think of your mind like soil. What you plant grows, what you water thrives, what you ignore withers. Right now, you might be watering doubt, watering fear, watering distraction, watering guilt, and then you wonder why your confidence is dry. Why your focus is cracked, why your energy is dust. Stop watering what's killing you. Start planting what will save you. 5 minutes of silence in the morning, that's a seed. 1 glass of water before coffee, that's a seed. Closing your eyes and breathing before you react, that's a seed. Turning off notifications for 1 hour, that's a seed. Saying I matter out loud even when your voice shakes, that's a seed. These aren't small things. These are revolutions, because repetition is power, repetition is rewiring, repetition is how you turn I can't into I did, how you turn I'm tired into I'm building, how you turn I'm not enough into I am becoming. You don't need motivation. Motivation is a spark, beautiful, but fleeting. What you need is ritual, routine, rhythm. The daily, boring, glorious act of showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. especially when you don't feel like it. That's where transformation lies, not in the grand gesture, not in the viral moment, not in the perfect plan, but in the quiet, relentless return to yourself day after day after day. And here's the secret no one tells you: your brain believes what you tell it. Not once, not twice, but consistently, over time. That's called neuroplasticity. Science calls it rewiring. You call it your second chance. Every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you're carving a new path in your mind. Every time you resist the urge to scroll, you're strengthening your focus muscle. Every time you move your body, even when you're tired, you're teaching your brain that you're stronger than your excuses. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you're replacing the inner critic with an inner champion. This is how you win the invisible war, not with willpower, with awareness, with intention, with tiny, daily acts of rebellion against the version of you that settled. You are not your bad habits. You are the force that can change them, and you don't have to change everything today. Just one thing, one habit, one trigger, one response. Start with the one that drains you the most, the one that steals your peace, the one that whispers you'll never change. Prove it wrong, not with a shout, with a step, then another, because momentum is magic. Motion creates clarity. Action builds belief. You don't need to believe in yourself to start. You just need to start, and belief will follow. The old you, the one who gave up before noon, the one who apologized for taking up space, the one who waited for permission, that version is fading. And the new you, the one who shows up, who chooses herself, who builds her life one sacred habit at a time, she's rising. She's not perfect. She's persistent. She's not fearless. She's faithful to her truth, to her growth, to her future. She doesn't wait for the storm to pass. She learns to dance, and then she builds a damn lighthouse. Stay right here. Don't turn away. Don't mute this voice, because what's coming next will show you how to turn these small daily choices into unstoppable momentum, how to silence the noise, how to build unbreakable focus, how to become the person you've always known you could be. This is your comeback, your upgrade, your awakening, and it's already happening one choice, one breath, one hell yes to me at a time. You're not falling behind, you're being forged. Keep going. Look in the mirror. Not to criticize, not to compare, just to witness that face staring back at you. It's carried you through sleepless nights, heartbreaks that felt like endings, failures that whispered quit, and days when getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. And yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still hoping, still showing up even if it's just barely. That's not weakness, that's warrior energy, that's raw, unpolished, undefeated strength. And if you can survive all that, imagine what you can build when you finally start believing in the power you already possess. You've been lied to, not by enemies, by mirrors, by society, by your own thoughts on bad days. They told you you're not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not disciplined enough, not lucky enough, not young enough, not healed enough, not ready enough. But here's the truth they don't want you to know: you were never meant to be enough for them. You were meant to be everything for you. Your strength isn't missing, it's buried under layers of self-doubt, buried under years of I can't, buried under the weight of other people's expectations. But it's there, pulsing, waiting, ready to rise the moment you stop asking for permission and start trusting what's already inside you. You don't need to be fearless. You never did. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that your purpose matters more than your panic, that your dream is louder than your doubt, that your future self is worth more than your current comfort. Think about the last time you surprised yourself, when you did something you swore you couldn't. When you spoke up when you wanted to stay silent, when you walked away when you were told to stay, when you started even though you were shaking. That version of you, that's your real self, not the one who hesitates, not the one who apologizes, not the one who waits, the one who rises even with trembling hands. That's the you that's been waiting to be unleashed. And you don't need a miracle, you need a mindset shift. A single, seismic realization: your past does not own your future. Your failures do not define your potential. Your pain is not your prison, it's your power source. Every tear, every setback, every no, every closed door, they weren't punishments. They were preparations, forge fires, building your resilience, sharpening your intuition, teaching you what you won't tolerate, showing you what you're truly made of. You think you're behind, you're not. You're exactly where you need to be, standing at the edge of your breakthrough, with everything you've survived now fueling everything you're about to become. Stop measuring yourself against someone else's highlight reel. Stop waiting for applause to validate your worth. Stop believing that you have to be perfect before you begin. You don't. You just have to be willing to try, willing to stumble, willing to rise again. Willing to choose yourself even when it's messy, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching, because the most powerful version of you isn't the one with the perfect plan. It's the one who starts before she's ready. Who shows up when she's scared, who speaks her truth when her voice shakes, who builds her life brick by brick even when the world tells her to wait for a blueprint. You already have everything you need. Not out there, in here, in your grit, in your gritted teeth, in your quiet determination, in your refusal to stay down, in your whispered "not today" to defeat, in your silent "watch me" to the doubters, including the one living in your own head. That fire, it's yours. That strength, it's yours. That resilience, it's yours. That vision, it's yours. And no one can take it from you unless you hand it over. So stop handing it over. Stop giving your power away to opinions that don't matter, to distractions that don't serve you, to relationships that drain you, to thoughts that lie to you. Reclaim it, minute by minute, breath by breath, choice by choice. You are not broken, you are becoming. You are not lost. You are being led by your own inner compass, by your own quiet knowing, by the version of you that refuses to die. And when you finally stop fighting yourself, when you stop resisting your own growth, your own power, your own truth, that's when the magic happens. That's when doors open that you didn't even knock on. That's when opportunities find you. That's when confidence stops being something you chase and becomes something you carry. Stay with this, don't click away. Don't mute this voice, because what comes next will show you how to turn this inner strength into unstoppable outer action, how to set boundaries that protect your peace, how to say no without guilt, how to build a life that feels like freedom, not obligation. This is your moment, not someday, not when things calm down, not when you feel ready. Now, the world doesn't need a quieter you, it needs a bolder you, a truer you, a fiercer you, a you who knows her worth and refuses to shrink for anyone. So rise, not tomorrow, now. You've survived 100% of your worst days. Imagine what you'll do with your best ones. You've survived, you've risen, you've whispered "not today" to defeat more times than you can count. But here's the next truth: survival is not the finish line. Rising once is not the victory. The real power, the real freedom, it comes when you stop letting the world dictate your energy and start guarding it like the sacred treasure it is. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to the life you're trying to build. Every distraction you tolerate, every toxic conversation you endure, every obligation you accept out of guilt. Every hour you waste scrolling, comparing, doubting, you're not just losing time, you're losing pieces of your future self. This is where most people fail, not because they lack dreams, not because they lack talent, but because they lack boundaries. They confuse kindness with availability. They mistake flexibility with weakness. They think saying no makes them rude when in truth not saying no makes them invisible to others and worse to themselves. You were never meant to be a doormat dressed in smiles. You were meant to be a fortress, calm, unshakable, fiercely protective of your peace. And peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of power, the power to choose where your energy goes, who gets access to you, what earns your attention, what deserves your yes. Start here. Your time is not public property. Your energy is not an open buffet. Your focus is not up for negotiation. You don't owe anyone your silence, your exhaustion, your people pleasing, your over-explaining. You don't owe anyone your burnout. You don't owe anyone your soul. Say it out loud. I am not here to be convenient. I am here to be powerful. That means walking away from conversations that leave you feeling smaller. That means muting notifications that hijack your focus. That means declining invitations that don't align with your energy. That means unfollowing accounts that make you feel less than. That means leaving rooms, physical or emotional, that no longer serve your growth. This isn't cold, this isn't cruel, this is clarity, because every no you speak is a yes to your purpose. Every boundary you set is a brick in the foundation of your future. Every time you protect your peace, you're not pushing people away, you're making space for the right ones to find you. The ones who respect your energy, the ones who match your frequency, the ones who see your light and don't try to dim it. You think you're being kind by saying yes to everything. You're not. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're training them to expect your silence, your sacrifice, your surrender, and then you wonder why you feel used, why you feel empty, why you feel like no one sees you. They don't see you because you've hidden yourself behind layers of sure, whatever you want, I don't mind, it's fine. It's not fine, and you don't have to keep pretending it is. Start small, say no to one thing today, just one, the request that drains you, the favor that costs you peace, the event that feels like obligation. Say it kindly, say it firmly, say it without apology. You don't need to justify your no. Your peace is reason enough, and watch what happens. Watch how your energy shifts. Watch how your focus sharpens. Watch how your confidence grows not from arrogance, but from alignment, from knowing deeply, unshakably that you are no longer negotiable. This is the secret of unstoppable people. They don't chase balance. They create boundaries. They don't beg for respect. They command it by respecting themselves first. They don't wait for the world to slow down. They build their own sanctuary inside their mind, inside their schedule, inside their spirit. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more ownership of the ones you have. You don't need more motivation. You need more protection from distractions, from energy vampires, from your own people, pleasing reflexes. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You need to be honored by yourself, and that honor begins with one word, no, not as rejection, as redirection, not as selfishness, as sacredness, not as shutting doors, as choosing which ones to walk through with your head high, your energy full, your soul intact. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your health, to your creativity, to your peace, to your power, to your future. You're not closing yourself off, you're clearing the path. So stop apologizing for protecting your energy. Stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You are not here to be easy to manage. You are here to be impossible to ignore. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions. Let it. You choose your direction. You choose your focus. You choose your peace. And when you do, watch how everything else falls into place. Not because you forced it, because you freed yourself. Stay right here. Don't look away. Don't mute this voice rising inside you. Because what comes next will show you how to turn this clarity into unstoppable momentum, how to start before you're ready, how to build habits that don't break, how to become the person who doesn't wait for motivation, but creates it. This is your turning point. Say no so you can finally say yes. To the life you were born to live, you've said no, you've drawn the line, you've protected your peace, and now the real magic begins. Because the moment you stop letting the world dictate your rhythm is the moment you unlock your power to create momentum, not someday, not when the stars align, not when you feel ready, but right now. With what you have, where you are, as you are, you don't need a perfect plan, you don't need a motivational speech, you don't need permission, you just need 5 minutes, that's it. 5 minutes of focused, intentional action before your brain talks you out of it. Before doubt creeps in, before the world demands your attention again. This is the secret no one taught you. Action doesn't follow motivation. Motivation follows action. You've been waiting to feel inspired, to feel confident, to feel in the zone. But those feelings, they don't arrive before you start. They arrive because you started, because you moved, because you showed up even when you didn't want to. Even when you were tired, even when you were scared, especially then. So here's your new rule. Don't wait to feel like it. Just start for 5 minutes, that's all. 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of walking, 5 minutes of planning, 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of saying I am enough. In the mirror, even if your voice cracks. 5 minutes is all it takes to break the spell of stagnation. Because inertia is a liar, it tells you you're stuck. It tells you it's too late. It tells you you need more time, more energy, more confidence. But the truth, you don't need more. You need movement. Motion breaks chains, motion builds belief, motion turns I can't into I did. And once you start, even for 5 minutes, something shifts inside you. Your brain wakes up, your spirit stirs, your confidence whispers, see, I told you we could. This isn't about grand gestures. This is about micro wins, tiny victories that stack, that compound, that build an unshakable belief in yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're persistent. You think successful people have more discipline. No, they have more ritual. They don't wait for motivation. They create momentum by starting before they're ready, by showing up even when they don't feel like it, by choosing action over analysis. By trusting that motion, any motion is better than waiting for perfect conditions that never come. So stop overthinking, stop rehearsing, stop preparing, just begin, open the document, lace up your shoes. Send the email, make the call, write the first sentence, do the first rep, say the first no, take the first step however small, however shaky, because the first step is never about distance, it's about direction. It's about proving to yourself not someday, but today that you are the kind of person who shows up, who starts, who doesn't wait for the storm to pass but learns to dance in the rain and then builds a damn lighthouse so others can find their way too. And here's what happens when you do this day after day. 5 minutes at a time, you stop being a prisoner of your mood. You stop being a hostage to your emotions. You become the driver, the creator, the commander of your life, not because you're fearless, but because you're faithful to your growth, to your purpose, to your future self. You don't need to do it all today, you just need to do something. One thing, one small, sacred act of rebellion against the version of you that used to wait. And when you do, watch how your energy shifts, watch how your confidence grows. Watch how your belief in yourself deepens, not from praise, not from likes, not from applause, but from the quiet, unshakable knowledge that you kept your promise to yourself. That's where real power lives. Not in motivation, in movement, not in waiting, in starting, not in perfection, in persistence. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you reply to anyone, before you step into the chaos, give yourself 5 minutes. Just 5 for you, for your dream, for your future, for the version of you that's begging to be born. Do it messy, do it tired, do it scared, do it unsure, just do it, because 5 minutes today builds the life you want tomorrow. And when you string those 5 minutes together day after day, week after week, month after month, you won't recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror, not because you changed overnight, but because you showed up consistently, relentlessly, faithfully, even when no one was watching, even when you didn't feel like it, even when it was hard. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's how stuck people become unstoppable. That's how you become the person you've always known you could be. Stay right here, don't click away, don't mute this voice. Because what comes next will show you how those 5 minutes turn into unstoppable momentum, how small daily actions compound into massive transformation, how consistency becomes your superpower, how you build a life that doesn't just look good, but feels deeply, unshakably yours. This is your moment. Start before you're ready. The world is waiting for the you that's about to rise. You started, you showed up. 5 minutes turned into 10, 10 turned into a habit turned into momentum, and now you're standing at the edge of something powerful, something quiet, something unstoppable, because the real miracle isn't in the big leaps, it's in the small steps taken daily. Relentlessly, faithfully, even when no one claps, even when no one notices, even when you don't feel different. That's where transformation lives, not in the spotlight, in the shadows, in the silent, sacred space between who you were and who you're becoming. This is the compound effect, the invisible force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary forces. 1 page read, $1 saved, 1 deep breath taken, 1 boundary held. 1 no spoken, 1 morning chosen, 1 workout finished, 1 fear faced, alone, unseen, uncelebrated, but not unimportant, not unnoticed by the universe, not wasted. You won't see the change tomorrow. Maybe not next week, maybe not even next month, and that's where most people quit. They mistake silence for failure. They confuse slow progress with no progress. They give up just before the breakthrough, just before the shift, just before everything they've been building in secret, in sweat, in silence finally explodes into the light. But not you, because you know now growth doesn't scream, it whispers. It accumulates, it compounds, like interest in a bank account you never check until one day you look and realize you're rich, not in money, in strength, in discipline, in peace, in power. Every small choice you make, every time you choose yourself, every time you protect your energy, every time you start before you're ready, you're not just building a habit, you're building your future self. Brick by brick, breath by breath, day by day, and that future self, she's watching you right now, from the other side of your breakthrough, from the other side of your fear, from the other side of your doubt. She's proud of you, not because you're perfect, but because you didn't quit, because you showed up even when it was hard, even when you were tired, even when no one believed in you, including sometimes yourself. She's the proof that this works. She's the living, breathing result of every "I'll try" turned into "I did." Every "I'm not ready" turned into "I started anyway." Every "I don't feel like it" turned into "I did it for me." And she's not a fantasy. She's a promise that if you keep going, if you keep showing up, if you keep choosing yourself, if you keep honoring those 5 minutes, she will rise, fully, fiercely, unstoppably. You don't need to be motivated every day. You just need to be committed. Motivation fades, commitment endures. Motivation is a spark. Commitment is the fire that keeps burning even in the wind, even in the rain, even in the dark, and you're building that fire. 1 log at a time, 1 choice at a time, 1 yes to me at a time. This is how legends are made, not in a single moment of glory, but in 1,000 moments of grit, of showing up when no one's watching, of doing the work when no one's clapping, of choosing growth over comfort, again and again and again. You think you're not changing. Look closer. You're sleeping better. You're standing taller. You're speaking clearer. You're saying no without guilt. You're starting before you're ready. You're protecting your peace like it's gold, because it is. You're no longer begging for scraps of time. You're claiming your hours like the sovereign ruler of your life that you are. That's not luck. That's legacy. That's not coincidence. That's consistency. That's not magic. That's momentum built slowly, silently, sacredly by you, and the beautiful part, no one can take it from you. No setback can erase it. No critic can undo it. No failure can stop it unless you let it. So when doubt whispers, "Is this even working?" answer with action. When fatigue says, "Just skip today," answer with 5 minutes. When fear says, "What if you fail?" answer with, "What if I fly?" Because you're not building for applause, you're building for alignment, for peace, for power, for freedom, for the version